Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and in this video we're gonna go over WorkHorse Stock because the whole market's got completely trashed today, and I want to go over the price action on WorkHorse because we're getting to a very critical point where the price action is going to tell us a lot about the story here in WorkHorse. So we're looking at it right now on the daily time frame. The reason why today was so significant is because we got a back test of our 50-day SMA. And so this right here was the moment we were waiting for here on WorkHorse. The one thing I still have to mention is there's still a slight gap to fill here at around $11.52. So when I look at the outlook here, I'm a firm believer in gaps do get filled. And I believe that because we are now at this point in our price action, there is a good chance we do see lows here of around 1150, 1152. And so at that point, we should expect to see the price action go back up. If people are buying up these shares like they say they are, and they're holding and they are anticipating a short squeeze, then I believe once the price action gets to this point, there are going to be a lot of traders that have a buy limit set at these prices to snag up the shares once this gap is filled. And I am one of those same traders. The reason why I believe we are going to see a turnaround after that point is because the continued volume is speaking volumes, and no pun intended, because this is all selling on very little volume. So you could see when we had our green days, our candles were way higher. We had a lot more people in the stock, but when we've been selling recently, you can see it's been on extremely low volume. So this to me is clear manipulation. And so if you look strictly at the share price, you would be kind of confused as to why the price is going down. If you look at the volume, it's clear manipulation. I still believe that market makers need to fill this gap because this was a pretty large gap that we saw. Here's what I want to see in WorkHorse stock and what I believe is the best case scenario for this stock. Tomorrow, I want to see us fill this gap here to 1152, but I want to see us close above our 50-day SMA. The reason why that would be so bullish is not only would that be a doji candle, but that would fill our gap, and that would mean that we were able to hold our 50 SMA. And anytime you're able to hold the 50 SMA, it becomes a strong base for the stock. And so I added our MACD right here. Our MACD is a very strong indicator that I like to use. And so this blue line right here, we don't want to see it cross down this zero line. So this little median line right here where the dotted line is, we don't want the blue line to get to that point. We don't want to have a negative MACD, because if we get the negative MACD, that does mean that we are going to be in a downtrend. What I want to see is our MACD curl up before we get to that negative zone. And so what that would look like on our charts would be exactly what I mentioned in our best case scenario. We would fill our gap here tomorrow, but we would close the day actually above our green line, and then that would start to curl our MACD up. And then if we can follow that up by a couple green days, that would actually be an extremely bullish sign of strength here for the stock. And so especially for a stock that's extremely shorted, I really want to see some conviction and some confidence with our indicators, because when we were doing our AMC run, which I'm going to bring you guys to right now, when we were at this point in time, when we had our crazy surge up right here, and this was when we ran up all the way up to 20 and we crashed back down, you could see we actually held our 50 SMA through this whole point. We had some brief stints right here under our green line, but overall you could see we were well above, and then we stayed above for a very long time. And so with the same thing here on WorkHorse, I would not be surprised at all to see the price action hover and flutter underneath the 50 SMA for a short period of time, also called a bear trap, before it starts going up, because I know there's a lot of eyes on this stock. So this stock is going to be heavily manipulated. There's going to be a lot of swings, a lot of volatility, a lot of fear being instilled into investors to sell their shares, in turn helping the hedge funds. And so when I look at the entire setup of this, overall, in a perfect world, we want to hold our 50 SMA if we want to continue going up. If we can't hold the 50, then the shorts and the hedge funds are going to have power, and they are going to be able to bring this down a lot further. And so the reason I say that is because traders also understand this same premise. Once you're below the 50 SMA, you should be short on a stock. And so people who are riding this up may well short this stock when it gets below the 50. And so they end up teaming up with the hedge funds, and that brings the price down even more. And so we don't want that to happen. We want to show all investors that we can hold this 50 SMA, which should give traders confidence confidence to also come in, buy on support, and hold it for the next run up. There you guys have it. This is my quick little update here on Workhorse, what to look out for and what the best case scenario is here for Workhorse. Just remember, we are still holding support on the 50, so there is no reason to panic yet. But if we get a couple days underneath this 50 SMA, then you should start to worry, because that's when the shorts are going to have a lot of control and a lot of power on this stock. As long as we're above this point, they are sweating, we are not, and just always remember that. So overall, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.